Yeah, I thought Andy Demetra did a really good job with the radio show last night. I know a lot of you guys listened to it, but just in this development of our program, we're 3 inches away of having that thing tied up going into the fourth quarter. A lot of momentum. Bobby Dodd was rocking the way I remember Bobby Dodd being when I was here in the past. A huge shout out to our fan base. The student body, the band. There was a ton of energy in the stadium, even when it started on Yellow Jacket Alley. All the way during pregame warm-ups, the stadium was about halfway full when the team was out there for warm-ups, and that speaks well for our players, for recruits, for the fan base, to see that kind of energy and excitement all the way before kickoff is even there, and our guys feed off of that. Recruits see it and see what a big-time program is supposed to look like, and so just really want to be appreciative of the support that our guys have earned and the support they were given, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night in a really good environment. And regardless of adversity, regardless of any injuries or any guys that are missing, I thought our team came out there and played really, really hard, stuck together. We're in some tough circumstances throughout the game. Some were out of their control. They handled it. And I said even after the game that I don't know if 6 months ago this program could have handled some things that happened to them with the poise, with the class, with the resiliency that they showed. And, that speaks to culture. That speaks to relationships that are really, really strong within this organization, from coach to player, from player to coach, from player to player. And we just got to continue to build on those things because we're really, really close. Individually, some guys that stood out, and it's been posted on social media, but I want to go ahead and talk about Amarian Brown. Another really nice game. I think he's in some really elite conversations with some of the great receivers that have played here early in their career, and it's well-deserved. Proud of him. Wanye Thomas, obviously, publicly and statistically, people recognize that he really had a great game, which he did, and he's gotten better every single week in our program and what we do within our program. And I think one of the quotes after the game just speaks to the mindset and the culture and the things that we talk about every single day about preparing these young men for life, how to respond to adversity. We try to see opportunity in every single difficulty that we face. A lot of people go through life they're given opportunities, and they want to see the difficulty in those opportunities. We don't do that around here. And you can hear our guys talk and the way they think and the way they approach every day, even off the field, that those things are going to resonate and they're going to carry over to success in their life and while they're playing football at Georgia Tech. And I think those kind of moments are really special. Jerry Howard is a big-time running back for us, but we play a huge emphasis on special teams. And Jerry with his second blocked punt of the season. We've had 3 block kicks the last 3 games. That is part of our DNA as a program. We led the country in block kicks last year at the previous institution. And so just finding a rhythm with, how we play the game, how important special teams is, and Jerry Howard resembles that. We are a developmental program. Some guys that stood out last week, Tad Aycock along the offensive line, Thompson Rudolph, defensive back, and Spence Massey. And it's interesting, I didn't even realize this till right now, both of those young men, the last 2, are legacies of Georgia Tech football in this program. And I think that speaks a lot to the value of the degree that's here, the value of the memories and the relationships that guys that have played here in the past, that relatives will come and play for us. That's pretty cool. We place a high premium on energy and juice, positively affecting our teammates. I thought the crowd fed off of our players. They've seen how our players are so engaged during games throughout the season, how much energy and how much juice exists on the sidelines. You guys are fortunate to see it every day in practice. But on college football Saturdays on Grant Field, the way our guys interact with each other, the energy, the juice, the enthusiasm, and it's real. I thought it was responded well by our crowd, and some guys that stood out. Charlie Thomas, it was well documented that Charlie didn't get to play a lot due to injury. Jaquez Jackson stood up admirably at that position, but Charlie on the sidelines was actively engaged the entire time, yelling out things to Quez to help him whenever he could, whenever he was on the near sideline, and giving him tremendous support throughout. Jalen Camp's another, Johnny Kerr's another, and Dante Smith really supported their teammates at a high level. So with that, questions? Kelly.
Virginia's obviously been a tough place for Georgia Tech to play throughout history since they joined the league.
Sure.
Since Tech joined the SEC. Is there anything particular from your memories being here, or that makes that a particularly difficult matchup, or why Virginia's been a tough place for the Jackets to win?
I can't speak to that. All I can worry about is this team that we have right now, and going on the road with these amazing young men. It's a smaller travel party. On the home games we have an unlimited roster size that we can have dressed out for the games. But when you travel on the road in an ACC game, it's a small travel party. You're limited on the number of players that you can take, and so we have to be very strategic with roster management decisions going on the road in the ACC. But I'm just excited about getting the work week in, getting on the plane with our guys, and going playing what looks like is again has developed into a really good college football environment. We understand they're a really good team, both offensively and defensively, and special teams, and so we know we have a challenge. So I can't speak to historical things. I do know what happened the last two times I was there, but it is I'm just worried about this team in this moment and this week right now.
You're at the time of the season where a lot of guys are banged up. You've already lost some players. Do you change your approach to how you practice?
We monitor every single thing that we do with the catapult units, and we make really good decisions based on the numbers. And so we do that every single week regardless of the circumstances. I think the advantages of how we do things with our above-the-line system and focus on being a developmental program and not using scout cards, when times like this, when injuries start to mount up, which they have at high levels, it doesn't really phase us. We just have the next man up mentality. We love the guys that are down, that aren't going to be playing, and we help them with their rehab and encourage them and put our arms around them and love them. But we got to get ready to play at a high level regardless of the situation. So I think those things help us. The mindset and the resiliency that we have in this organization, how we respond to adversity helps in times like these. But we just continue to do what we do. We're very smart with the way we handle practice, the way we monitor reps, and the way we monitor player load. If you come to any of our meetings, even our coaches' meetings, the term player load comes up all the time. And so we monitor player load at all times. We even had, I won't say who, but we had two players that were on a strict player load monitoring system today. And once their player load was creeping up, because we calculated in real time, once their player load started creeping up, made the position coach aware. When it hit the number, we shut them down because we know exactly the number we wanted to prescribe for their safety and for their ability to play at a high level come Saturday. Tori?
You talked about Quez at the beginning of the press conference and then also at the end of the game on Saturday.
Yep.
With Bruce out for the season, with Charlie kind of limited, can you kind of speak to Quez and maybe something that he has done over the past couple of weeks that maybe goes unseen as far as his preparation to kind of be slotted in that position?
Well, I think I can actually take it back to David Curry. So we teach him a process, and it's a very in-depth process how we go through each position to get ready to play at a high level on Saturday. Every single thing we do is regimented. There's a plan for everything, and the application of the plan and learning of the process takes time. I would say week 4 of the season, David Curry had gotten it. He had figured out the process, and he had gotten his routine down with the help of Coach Thacker and the rest of our staff, and David had figured it out and started to play at another level. Well, what invariably happens is other guys see the success that David's having. How are you having it? What are you doing? Well, Coach has been telling us, here's the process. Come sit with me and let's do the process together. And you see those kind of things, those kind of moments happening throughout this organization. And Quez is starting to apply that. Obviously was at a different role, but that process, even Charlie has started the last 3 weeks to get his routine and his process to be able to play at a high level on college football Saturdays. One of the coolest things, Saturday before the game, Trey Swilling and Zamari Walton were sitting right there on the defensive bench about an hour and 40 before the tip, going through their tips and reminders, going through the picture pages. We make a big deal about picture pages in this program, especially defensively, going through his picture pages one last time, and that's now developed into part of their routine. And so once you learn the process, you apply the process, and you stick to it throughout the season, and as you prepare to play at a high level, it tends to pay off. And it's worked for a long time for us. It will continue to work. We just got to continue to educate our guys on it, and I think Quez is starting to figure that out. Bo?
Coach, when you talk about coaching systems and player load and things of that nature,
Sure.
who's the biggest influence? Where did you take most of that from? Or did you figure it out?
I kind of figured it out. You know, we've been, I think the last 4 years, the catapult system has started to be in place at places, but most of the time it's been for rehab purposes, player safety purposes, and we do use it for that to a high degree. But, you know, ever since I've been a young defensive coordinator for Coach Sinagra back there, our chief of staff, everything to me has been about effort. Because I wasn't a tremendously gifted athlete, but I played with great effort. I knew the game plan backwards and forwards. I knew how to get my buddies lined up, and then we would go out there and play at a high level. So I always had to have an edge and a differentiating factor, and that factor had to be preparation and had to be effort. So when Coach Horton and I started using and be fully invested into the catapult system, everything we do, I said, how do we use a metric to determine effort? How can we use this great technology to coach effort, develop effort, and the guys to play at a high level? And we've just been completely investing in it. We'll spend probably first 16, 17 minutes of staff meetings every single day on the numbers. We talk through the numbers, what the numbers mean. We're blessed to be at this great institution where we have some high-level thinkers on our team that actually they themselves dive into the data. And how can they find a modem of differential so that they can, you know, play better on Saturdays and hopefully get to the next level one day. And a lot of that comes down to effort. And how can they do that? What is the empirical data that supports that they are playing with great effort? And we have that, and we use it, and we make decisions based on it. Yeah, Bo?
What is that empirical data?
So there.
Usually you look at effort and all you see is what you see.
Right. So I still remember defense coordinator at Albright College, whatever that, goodness gracious, 1997, 1998. So we developed a loaf policy. Because there's one thing to tell a kid he's not playing hard. Well, coach doesn't like me or this and that. So I tried to figure out ways that I could say empirically that you're not playing hard. 5-step burst once the ball, so I'm getting passed by a player in your position. The ground is a hot stove, not jumping up when all of those things. Well, you're not doing these things. Well, obviously you're loafing. Well, now, when we're in modern technology, we are at the institution of technology for the state of Georgia. Is how can we use this data to extrapolate who is playing really hard. And now we have that, and we use it at a really high level. And we'll go through it. We have, and I would love to show it to you, is we have every single player by position, all these data points that we collect, sprints, number of them, sprint distance, how many yards they were going as fast as they could go, player load, total distance, all of these things per position, so they can see their effort relative to their peers and know where I stack up. And, some of them I think I know they're very competitive. Well, they don't want somebody to have more sprints than them on a certain day, so then they want to do better. Their miles per hour on a given day. Quick little story. Jordan Huff last week on a Tuesday practice had the lowest mile per hour of the DBs. Well, as good coaches do, you point out the things that you can improve on. And on Wednesday's practice, I look over to the sideline. He wasn't getting his reps. It wasn't his turn, right? The other guys were in. He's over on the sideline, and I look over, and Jordan is running 40-yard dashes on the sideline. And I'm like, what is he doing? Like, well, Coach, you got on him for having the slowest mile per hour that yesterday, so he was going to make sure he had it. But I think those kind of moments are pretty cool, that the data is important to them, and playing really hard is important to them. So if you watch us play any moment in any game this season, there is not an instance that you can say the Georgia Tech football team does not play hard. That is our calling card. We are going to play with unbelievable effort and fly around and play hard regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the situation. And it's trained, it's ingrained that we're a culture built on effort, and there's empirical data to back it.
Ashley? Ron, go.
So I know the record doesn't exactly show the progression of this team, and you're always talking about the vision that you see
Yep.
for the future and less than a month of the regular season.
Sure.
What are some things that you see out of the younger guys that makes you excited for the future that you've seen so far, and since you'll be with them for
Right.
3, maybe 4 years?
Sure. So it's no secret, 73% of our team, or 73% of the plays that are being played right now are by freshmen or sophomores. Usually it's the other way around, where it's 73% of your seniors or juniors. So we get that. So there's a lot of young guys that are playing at a high level. There's some developmental guys that aren't cracking the ATL yet, but are showing signs that they're going to be really good players. We've got some guys, obviously, that weren't granted eligibility, that are out there practicing every day, that they're playing at a really high level, so it gives us cause to be excited. But it's interesting, I actually talked about that this morning to the team. The outside world is going to look at what we're doing and what we're going through and be really excited about the future, and all the players that are going to get to come back for another year that are injured, the young guys that we're developing, and there's probably a lot of excitement about that and how well, or how we've started to play really well collectively regardless of the circumstance. But I've got 8 seniors that this is the last chance they're going to get to play college football. So my entire focus and every fiber of my being is invested in making sure their experience is the best experience it could possibly be, and turning every stone over and giving them every chance to have a great experience wearing the white and gold for Georgia Tech that it can possibly be. So I don't have time right now to worry about that, or to even think about that, or be excited about that. I'm worried about today. What can I do today? When we get done here, I'll watch the practice. We'll do red zone game planning. We'll do third and long game planning. What can I do to make an impact so that those 8 seniors have a great experience and have a chance on Saturday for us collectively to play well for them? And, that's the part that really matters to me, is those guys, and giving honor and respect for them, and trying to, as hard as we can, to stay in the moment to play at a high level for those guys.
Paul?
I think you sort of answered my question there, but I'll take another stab at it. Do you, even though you're obviously only worried about the next game, and these guys on this team is really all you can worry about, but is there any way in the last month of the season you can start to put in things or try things that might, with a little bit of an eye toward the future in terms of the final month, kind of getting a head start a little bit on next season?
The cool thing, the way we do things is every single day we're doing that. Every single day I go down there and I coach the developmental defense. So our offense is running plays and getting ready for the looks for the opponent, and I'm down there coaching those guys. And so I get to be around them. I get to coach them, put my hands into their development, and so I get to see it every single day. The recruiting part, obviously I can't talk individually, but you look on Saturday from the 50-yard line all the way to the other 50-yard line, it's 5 to 6 deep, packed, getting to see what Bobby Dodd Stadium is supposed to look like, and the energy, and how our guys are preparing at a high level. But the biggest thing, and even I said it when I talked to Todd in the interview, is the first thing that has to be addressed and has to be developed is the culture. And I think our guys have embraced it. They've engaged in it every single day. They're living it, and there's moments that you can really tell that things are starting to get really ingrained in them. And one of the biggest ones is the score 17-10 going into the fourth quarter, and we're about to tie the game up. We fumble the ball on the 3-inch line. They return it to the far 21, and if you just watch that play, it's very easy. In human nature, that ball is out, we're about to score, it is very easy to just stop. That's the easy thing to do. But if you turn on that tape and you watch Adonica Sanders and Malachi Carter fighting as hard as they could to get the ball carrier out of bounds, and they did it, then defense has to come out. I mean, that's a bad thing that just happened to us. But if you just watch them take the field, it wasn't fake. Put the ball down. We're going to give ourselves a chance. They're well within field goal range. Well within field goal range to make it a 2-score game. Our guys said, put the ball down, and they forced them to kick a 49-yard field goal. There was zero quit. Here's the opportunity that we have. It's a difficult opportunity, but we're going to see it and make the most of it. And they forced a 49-yarder. The kid made a really good kick. But those kind of moments, the resiliency, and then just to keep battling and fighting to give ourselves a chance, those are the moments that give you, excitement for the present, because we still got a senior class that we're all in on, helping have a great experience. So, but those kind of moments, and there's more, but those are the ones that you guys see as well that are special.
David in the back, and then we'll do a couple more right up here.
Coach, just real quick on Virginia. What are they doing well offensively and defensively? What challenges they present?
Sure.
And what kind of week do you have to have to go up against success?
One of the biggest thing is they've got, it's a team that's really long and really athletic. They've got a lot of height across all the positions and a lot of length. And, have actually, recruited to that since they've been there. But they play really hard. The quarterback is really, really special. And, they play at a high level. He obviously knows what he's doing with the football and within the scheme. It's a challenge on both sides. But, all we can do is worry about us and focus on us. And just every single day fight and scratch and claw to get better. To give ourselves a chance to play really, really well as a Georgia Tech football team going on the road.
Patrick?
Coach, if you would, going back to that same possession on Saturday's game you just spoke to, by far the most successful sustained drive up to the 3-inch
Yep.
line. Can you speak to the success of that drive as far as play calling, execution, what it might have been?
Well, it was actually very similar to the opening drive as far as play calling. We were able to hit some things, hit some RPOs, hit some rollovers, some things like that. So, we went in at halftime. Hey, the things are there. We just got to execute them better. And so we went out there. We made a concerted effort to go out there and just execute the things that were wired better. And we did that and had success with it. And just the thing that we talk all the time in this program is just finish. We got to finish that drive.
Okay.
When you came here, part of your vision and plan was to recruit, head-to-head with Georgia, Alabama, and so forth. And I'm curious, now almost a year in, I'm curious how you see that what you're selling and pitching to kids.
Sure.
How's it resonating, and just how you anticipate
going once,
Sure.
gets closer to signing day?
Right. And I think Kelly and Rod do a great job with that and understanding. They could probably answer it a little more forthcoming than I can in a public setting. But just the biggest thing is we understand the recruiting neighborhood that we're in with the programs that are surrounding us. We also understand the great high school coaching that is in our immediate 5-hour radius, the tremendous wealth of high school football talent that is within our 5-hour radius. And I think we do a good job. I'm even wearing the 404 hat because I think whatever the amount of national champions, I think 11 of the last 12 or 13 of the last 14 national championships have come within 5 hours of where we're sitting. And making a statement, making a mark, being aggressive in what we're selling, what we're marketing, what we're branding, and the things that we're branding and marketing are our culture. Is this great institution? It's one of the top 10 academic institutions in America. And you look outside and we're right here in Midtown Atlanta, which is the epicenter of culture in the Southeast. The Fortune 500 companies, they're here. It's one of the top 3 Fortune 500 company in the United States of America. So all of those things are appealing. And but then they come around recruits. Obviously, I can't speak specifically, but they come around our program. They are around our players. They are around our coaches who have infectious energy and a belief in what we're doing. And it resonates with a lot of people. And, so we will continue to do that. We will develop the players that we have at a very high level, and we won't be shy about going after elite talent that fits in to what we're doing here. And we've done that, and we're doing it at a very, very high level. And but the big thing is as they come into this program, making sure the culture is the way it's supposed to be, so that we can have everybody in the organization contribute and as a team play at a very high level, because we're not just worried about recruiting talent, we're worried about building a team, and there's a difference, and that's what we're actively trying to do and actively doing, and doing it at a high level. Appreciate that.
One more quick one, Kelly.
In terms of kind of what you just said and building the program, the second half of games, kind of a night and day in terms of the team performance this year. Is that sort of a sign of the young team and getting them settled down at halftime, or in adjustments and those sorts of things that are maybe causing a slower start than you would like?
So it's a combination of things. That's actually a really good question. Not that all your questions aren't great, but that. So what happens is just cumulative reps of different looks over time produces success. So in the early phases of this, just the amount of looks that you can rep per what we're doing schematically offensively, per what you're doing schematically defensively, over time those add up. And the fluidity of the ability to recognize it, execute it, when there's a unique look, year 2, year 3, whatever it is, those are very easy to pick up because you have a global understanding of everything within the program. What happens is with the young team, with some moving parts, some pieces getting moved in and out, the looks change at times, and there's a moment of recognition that you have to have. But you watch it throughout even the course of the game, and definitely throughout the course of the season, the more looks and the more different things that you see, you build a menu and you build a database of how that's supposed to take care of. And you see us getting better every single day. You see us getting better every single week, and you really even get to see us getting better throughout the course of the game, what teams are doing to us and building that menu of what we have to do through that. Like Jaquez Jackson, the second half, those exact same plays that were hitting us in the first half because they were attacking that position because they knew we had some guys missing. He got better, and those same plays did not hurt us in the second half because he had looks at it, he had experience how to defend those things moving forward, and that's kind of the way it's been, throughout the year. But we've embraced it. this is where we are, and we will continue to get better throughout the games, throughout the weeks, and definitely throughout the season.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.